Welcome to another episode of the Texas Strip Club Uncensored podcast. I'm DJ Jack, and I'm going to be your host for today. Today's going to be something a little different. We're going to introduce my friend Mandi. She's going to be here today. This is just the intro for our specific podcast. We recorded a few of them in one night. And this is actually the fourth one that we did, but I thought it was so good. It's going to be the first one I'm putting out. So sit back, relax, and enjoy and listen to the smooth sounds of DJ Jack and Mandi. Here we go with that. Enjoy. Alright, so we're talking about Mandi, and the subject we're talking about is
Destigmatizing stripping.
Alright, so it's not a subject I plan to talk about. It's one of our own. So she wanted to talk about this, so we're going to let you take the lead.
I appreciate it. And I'm just really glad to have a platform to actually share my experiences and stories, and that's why I decided to do this with you, because I really hope that if I can accomplish anything tonight is that maybe some people have a better understanding or appreciation for people in the industry, like DJs like you and dancers like myself.
That's why I tell my friends, I go, look, some of the subjects I talk about are completely 360 from the ones that I did before. They're not like, I did one cocaine for babysitting, an actual true story. And then I did one about types of lap dances. And then I've done one about the most dangerous strip club in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to be doing one about the dirty place that I worked at for 8 years. I mean, and there's some things I want to talk about. You know, it's just, and they're not all the same. Like, I want to do one about money. How cash is king.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
How we as a society have literally fallen into the fact that PayPal, and which you have to pay taxes on now if you get it. Nobody really accepts Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, and I want to talk about that. And it's not talked about subjects. So this subject is not something I thought about talking about, but you feel strongly about it, so you take the lead, and I'll follow you. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about it because you're right, some of the stories that come out of this industry, it's they just seem stranger than fiction, but they're all true. It's some crazy stuff can happen there, but just because our industry can be crazy or weird or different doesn't mean that all the people in the industry are bad people. And I just really hate that there's so many girls just chalked up to a certain thing just because of the few that maybe actually are that way.
I always say, that's the key word about what you just said was people. And a lot of people don't realize that we are just people. I mean, we're just like everybody else, but we don't get treated like that.
No.
You know, and I admit that stereotypes are stereotyped for a reason. Like I've always said, 10 to 15% of women at strip clubs will have sex with you for money, but the rest don't. And those are the ones we're talking about, the 95 to 90% that will not do it for money. So, you want to talk about the subject? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when trying to break that labeling of strippers? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
We've said it a few times already, that stripper does not equal hooker. I am so tired of being hesitant to tell people what I do for work because I'm afraid that they're going to instantly think that I'm a prostitute when I'm not. I'm just a mom trying to earn a living and still have time for my daughter. And there's so many other women in there too that are maybe students going to school, also mothers, and a lot of those women are just trying to do the best that they can.
Yeah, I did one about single stripper moms, and I had 3 classifications. One was single stripper mothers. These are the women that go above and beyond to create a future. Some of them became millionaires, some of them made enough money to buy a house, some of them made enough money to start a business. They were business oriented, so they had a more formal term of mother. And then there was the single stripper moms, which were women that work and want to spend time with their families. Work is important, but family is more important to them than anything else. And while they do want to save money and they do want to have a home and they do want to have a car, they're not thinking about buying a Gucci purse or any of the other stuff. They're thinking about their kids, and that's more important than anything else. And then, of course, it was one I just called baby mamas because Obviously, the stereotype image when somebody says that is usually, when it comes to strippers, is the usual stereotypes. But I would call you a single stripper mom. You care about your family, and you want to make money, yes, but for you, time with your family is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And people sometimes overlook that kind of thing.
And I know you've told the story before of like the mom that traded cocaine for like the sitter.
Oh, actually, no. I got paid cocaine to babysit somebody.
Yeah. See, like, those moms exist, but yeah, not
No,
all of us.
No. Oh my God. She didn't hear the story. Just quick recap. It was a guy out of prison. Mom ditched him and the daughter. He just happened to be a drug dealer, and we worked the same strip club together. And I was babysitting his daughter, and I needed money. I was young and stupid, and he just gave me like 2 8 balls for babysitting his daughter, and a lot of hijinks ensued. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it was a true story. But what I would say, the biggest stereotype that I get when I tell people I work at a strip club, is suddenly they always get the idea that women have no standards. When they go to a strip club, they obviously think that women have no standards whatsoever. They'll do anybody and everybody. And when I start telling people that no, they have standards, they have ideals, and you know what? Here's a great thing. And I used to tell people this all the time because I did a lot of beautiful. You know what? I hate to say it, I've always said I'm not a good-looking guy. I'm more like a 4.3 if I dress up. But I always managed to date beautiful women. And it was funny, my friends asked me, how did you do it? I said, well, here's the secret. And I always used to tell people this. If you don't understand what I'm saying after I say it, you're never going to get it. And they would be like, no, we'll get it. And I said, well, here's the secret to dating strippers. Treat them like people. And a lot of guys would hear me say that, and it would be like, fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, the fact that you don't understand what I'm saying in plain English, you're never going to get it. Because I said, that's the secret. You have to treat strippers like people.
Because we are people.
I know that you are people, but it was just so weird how I would tell people that, and they wouldn't get it. And I know the look on your face when I said it, like, kind of like, if the word duh could have a facial expression, you're like, duh.
Yeah.
I know, and whenever I say that to people, they're always like, women, especially women who are strippers, are like, yeah, of course. Women like you, I always say, yeah, of course we're people. And then I tell that to some guys, and they have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's like, no, I'm an alien. Like, plot twist. Like,
you wouldn't believe. I once literally got a date from a woman who was a mother. She's like, oh my God, I got my kid, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Let's go out on a date with your daughter. And she's like, well, she's like, well, she doesn't know you. I said, well, you know me. We've worked together for a while. And I went to Dave & Buster's. I had a great old time. Didn't learn that we weren't compatible, but we did not show any affection whatsoever in front of the child because it was just us. It was just supposed to go out and have fun day.
yeah.
And some people didn't understand why I did that. I was like, look, first of all, if they're a mom, you have to treat them like a mom, which means that there's no grabbing ass, there's nothing like that in front of the kids because that's not the kind of image they want to give, first of all. You have to treat them like people, and if they're a mom, you have to treat them like a mom. You have to show them respect, and you can't be getting all lovey-dovey with their kid around, especially if their kid's never met you before.
Yeah.
So they always thought it was weird that I would do stuff like that. I was like, no, it's not weird. They're people, and more importantly, they're a mom.
I think it's incredibly respectful of you to treat her with like that kind of dignity out in public, and also even just to treat her like that. I think that's incredibly sweet. Like, and you're right. Like, so many people just wouldn't even think that way.
There was a girl that I fell in love with, and my friends could not understand how it happened. And we haven't ever had these kind of conversations, so I know it's new to you. We both had lives that were just complete opposites, and we had very little time to ourselves. Like, when I say that, I mean we would be lucky to go on a date once a week, and it would only be for like an hour. When I say an hour, I mean literally she had 1 hour, and then she had to be back. So we ended up running errands together as part of our time, spending time together. I mean, when I mean errands, I mean like going to the supermarket. Oh, I've got to go buy my son some new shirts, and I would go. I'd hold her daughter Chloe. That became our dating routine. And people, some of my friends at the time were like, I don't get it. I'm like, look, that's all the time we have together. So we're going to use what time we have. And we fell in love together. Sadly, her mother couldn't accept what I was doing, but it was one of the best relationships I've ever had in my life. No, we only slept together once. 4 month period, we only slept together once. That was the only time she literally was like, I've got 3 hours. Let's go out and do something. And then she surprised me with just like, no, we're not going anywhere. Let's just go to your bedroom. And that was the only time we ever slept together. But most of the time we spent together, were just with me and her and the kids. And you treat them like people. You have to treat them like people.
Absolutely. Super important.
So besides that, what else do you think would help people not see them as just some label and stereotype?
I don't know how else to help them see that. I just hope that honestly just vocalizing it would, be enough. Sometimes I ask people, it's like, well, imagine if you were in that position. Imagine if you were the one that went and busted your ass at this job, and the entire time that you're there, and every single person that you come in contact with and that you're trying to perform a service for just wants to treat you like dirt, or assume that when you say no, that's actually you saying yes, or just wants to think that you're easy.
I don't want to get caught.
Oh man.
No, that's just... you know how many times I've heard that, and I'm like, oh, she's saying no, but she's trying to tell me she doesn't want to get caught. Like,
no, no literally means fucking no.
Like, I mean, I know that sounds, I know some people are probably hearing this going, that's idiotic. Of course, no means no.
You'd be amazed what some people try.
When alcohol's involved, suddenly everybody, from the waitress to the door girl could be 50 years old, and suddenly she's a sexual object who is just 18 and wants to put out. And yeah, that's the more disgusting part of my job, and I hate that. I know it's weird to hear it from a guy, but
you probably see too many examples of it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you start feeling like dirt, because they feel like you're one of the guys, and you're gonna give them all this information. You're gonna tell them I'm like, dude, I try my best to push them away. I always tell people it's a job. It's a job first, and like anything else, you choose your job. It's not like the army or prison where they issue you a job. You choose to be here, so you choose what you want to do, and it's hard for people to understand that.
On the job note, like, another stereotype that I hate is people saying, like, so I'm always quoting, like, sex work is work, and like I would say that dancing is under the category of sex work, and it absolutely,
I consider stripping sex work.
It is absolutely work. That shit's exhausting. Like, you're spending 8 hours a shift walking around in 8-inch platform heels, constantly going up and down off the stage, pole dancing, which is also a workout. I don't know how many of you pole dance out there, but it's exhausting as well. You have to go around, like, to people and give them lap dances, also exhausting. It's mentally exhausting too, just the amount of just negativity and pervs, weirdos, creeps.
And by negative, she's not talking about like no's, okay? She's completely right. Perverts and all the rest of those guys, if you had to put up with that shit, you know what's really funny? And I say this, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass when I say this. I would tell people, I don't like my job. And they're like, why? Well, I didn't like where I was working. And everybody's like, why? I said, because I get my dick grabbed more than any other guy in that building. And they're like, oh, it's a dream job. I said, no, it's not. I go, first of all, at one point, there were girls making bets about who was going to sleep with me first. I never slept with anybody I worked with there. Never. I had one girl in the entire building I would have dated. She was the door girl. And I told her, I was like, of all the women in here, you're the only dateable one. And she's like, you don't have a boyfriend. I said, yeah, I know you have a boyfriend.
Lucky guy.
But I also I told her, I was like, you asked me a question, You know, like, because there was this hot chick and she was trying to touch me. I was like, get the fuck off me. I go, I know. I was like, no, I don't want you to grab my dick. I don't want you to do any of that shit. And she walked away, and the door girl's like, she's like, don't you find any of these girls attractive? I go, attractive, yes. I go, that's not an issue. Attractive, yes. They're very attractive. Do I find them appealing? No. Yeah, it's just, you know, I've seen, like, once you've seen some girls do some stupid stuff, you can't look at them the same way. Because you know they're doing it again and again. They're not like you. You have a standard, you have a sense of self that they don't have. And those are the girls that are grabbing me. And I told this girl, so look, I go, if I had to date one person in this whole building, it'd be you, and you're not even a dancer. I go, because I know who I work with. I go, a lot of them, I already know too much. You can't lie to me because I already know, you know? And I would say it's like the one thing I hated about where I worked is like none of the people there I could ever talk to because they were, a lot of them were stereotypes or just drunks. And that's why everybody would ask me, like, why in the hell are you going to Perfect 10 and Yellow Rose before work to have a drink? I go, because I need it.
I was gonna say, I feel very fortunate to work at the club that I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I got super lucky to have awesome managers and actually like a lot of girls in there that are just, it's a job. They're about the hustle. They're supporting themselves and families. And
I remember when you found out I was DJ and you asked me where I worked, and the first thing I had was like, it's a place you never need to go. I said, you're going to be so happy you're here. I just always hated when people ask me, like, well, I'll go check it out. I'm like, no, stay where you're at. Yeah, no, I never would have got to meet you the way we are talking right now if we worked together at where I did. It would have been a whole different thing. Everybody saw me as an asshole because I did not interact with anybody. When I say that, I mean I did not interact with anybody. Everybody wanted to go out and do stuff. I never did anything with nobody. I kept to myself. I had three good friends that worked there still, and they're the only people that I actually associated with in any shape or form outside the club. Because one, they're real people. And I know we keep bringing up people, but I mean that's a really important thing about all this is that they're people. You know, they're not putting on a show. They're not trying to go for the Instagram fame. Literally, I couldn't tell you how many times somebody took a picture of their drink or what they bought to eat, or God forbid, another Gucci fucking purse.
oh man,
Like Gucci would be so happy about the number of purses that were in my strip club, and people were like, "Oh, you don't like any of that?" No, I don't. I'm too old for it. I go, excuse me if I just want a girl that I can be like, you know what? How about I just make us dinner, let's watch a crappy horror movie, and then we'll go to bed. That's it. I mean, I know it sounds like a shitty time for some people, but I mean, you could see all the books I have. I literally have 1,000 that I've already read that I've kept, that I've read more than once. I've got about another 200 on the bottom that I'm going to read. So for me, I'm very boring to people, but...
well, you know, exactly. Again, people.
Yeah.
People are people. They are who they are, and
yeah, I try to explain that. But like with you, it's hard to get that message across to people. You know, I went out with one girl just to show her how boring it was, and by the end of the date, she's like, "I don't ever want to do this again." I said, "I told you." I was like, I don't know how else I could have told you. When I got in the car, the audio book I was listening to came on instead of music. And she was like, "What the hell is?" I was like, yeah, I go, "It's a book. Yeah, I just couldn't read it, but yeah, I've heard many good things about it, so I got the audio book." And she's like, "How much longer?" I was like, "Only 16 more hours to go." She's like, "Change it." I'm like, but I mean, I think you get where I'm coming from. You of all people, I mean, honestly, when I met you, you were such a surprise because it's hard to meet people up front who are honest completely about who they are from the exact second that you meet.
I feel like that's important if you're going to help destigmatize something, you know?
Especially for yourself.
Yeah, I'm very open on my Instagram, and on my OnlyFans and stuff what I do, and I'm even being much more open. Granted, at the beginning, I was a little scared to just, tell people kind of when I meet them that that's what I do for work, or especially if like they asked. But I'm starting to feel even more comfortable doing that because I'm just hoping that with time people will stop chalking all strippers up to the same thing. We're a service industry. We should be treated with the same kind of respect that maybe like your barista gets treated with, or just because we're half naked and show more of ourselves doesn't mean that we're people any less deserving of respect.
Yeah, I don't think that because you do OnlyFans and you're a stripper doesn't mean that you are. I think because you're a sex worker, I think that you should be. More importantly, I don't think you should be divided. I think the most important part, you should be added to the worker category. Because I've seen you. You work hard. It's no bullshit. Other girls might say, "Oh my God, I worked so hard." No, they haven't. You actually work hard. You hustle and bustle. That's why I said I would put you in a good category when it came to single stripper moms. Because you care about your family, which separates you from the more business-oriented single stripper mothers who are just about money. But you care about time and you care about your family. And that in itself, I mean, honestly, the only reason why I liked you, because the first time I met you, you were so honest. And I was like, I got caught off guard. And I was like, what is your name? And I did not forget it, which is fucking rare for me because I remember faces and I don't remember names that well. But I remembered you right off the bat. That's why when you told me to change your name, I'm like, what? I was like, who's Lilith? They're like, yeah, it's you. I'm like, oh, you changed your name. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's back to Mandi, too. I had too many customers having a hard time saying it. Just try screaming that over a DJ.
Yeah, no, I think it's good that we've had this conversation because it's one I haven't had. I didn't think about having. Usually when I talk in terms of people, I talk about relationships and stuff, but this is a lot. This is something I think is a good one to talk about.
Thank you for letting me talk about it a bit. I'm super stoked to kind of get that one off my chest a little bit, actually.
See, that's the thing I find with these podcasts, they are all going to be different. Like I said, I'm going to be doing one about cash, and I don't know how popular that one's going to be, but I feel like I feel it's very important. I believe that everybody should have cash when they come to the strip club and can't rely on credit cards and stuff. And again, I don't think it's very popular, but I think it's subjects that people need to hear about.
Or, how it might be kind of insulting if a girl dances for 9 songs straight and then you try and only tip her $2 on the stage.
Oh, I'm going to have one special about D-bags. Yeah, I need a proper title. But this is one thing I wanted to talk about, the douchebag. But again, if I put that on YouTube, it's not exactly going to get published. But yeah, I want to talk about that one. Guys that waste time.
Oh, those ones are
and
the worst.
Don't spend the amount of money they should be spending for all the attention that they get.
It's like, time is money in there. It's like, don't go sucking up 2 hours of my time and expect not to pay for it.
Oh yeah, I had a friend that literally got promised, the guy was thought to be good for it, because he usually is, promised her $1,000 for 2 hours of her time, did not pay it.
Oh.
Ended up, another girl came in and ended up taking her to VIP and then gave her a bunch of money for her lap dances and then didn't give her anything, just walked out the door.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, you cannot do this stuff. But you know what? Maybe we'll save that conversation for the next time we do this.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing that podcast. That sounds like a lot of good stuff there.
All right, guys. I'm gonna do promoting for her after this because I like to end it. Subscribe and all the rest of that stuff. Plus, I'm going to put the link for her Instagram and her OnlyFans down below, so please check it out. All right, so we'll say goodbye for this one.
Adios.
And until next time. Peace. All right, guys, thank you for enjoying that particular episode of the Texas Strip Club's Uncensored podcast. I'm DJ Jack, and that was my special guest, Mandi. All right, guys, before I get into the good stuff, like share, like, and subscribe, I've got to do a little promo. My friend Mandi is a stripper here in Austin, Texas at the Yellow Rose. If you guys want to know when she's working, please check out the link below to her Instagram where she does promote the days and mornings and nights that she does work at the Yellow Rose. So please go down and join her Instagram. And below her Instagram, you'll also see a link to her OnlyFans. That's right, guys, this lovely lady who likes to express herself in many different forms, has an OnlyFans. So please, guys, check out that link down below. It's only $5 a month. It is worth every single penny. So guys, please check out the link for Instagram and her OnlyFans. All right, guys, now that I told you that, it's now time for the part that's really important. To share, like, and subscribe. Why? Because when you share and like this video, guys, I know that you enjoy them. And more importantly, you're going to bring more people to the Texas Strip Club Uncensored family. Okay? And you subscribe so you can see every single new video when it comes out. Because if you don't, it's going to be a little hard to find because YouTube is not exactly pushing me to the front of the recommendation page. So guys, please share, like, and subscribe. I'm DJ Jack. Thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I'll see you next time. Peace.